Hey everyone, it's me, Matthew. Welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Last time we talked about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We learned that they trusted in God to take care of them even when they were facing certain death. And because of their faith and the power of God being shown, King Nebuchadnezzar made a decree that God is the God who saves. How awesome! Awesome! Today, we're jumping ahead in the Bible to the book of Nehemiah. Come on! Bible! Story! Time! Bible story time. We're going to be jumping about 50 years ahead from when the Israelites were captured by the Babylonians. So come on, get up. Let's jump there. Oh, I'm going to go through here. Whoa. Oh. Whew, what a ride. But now that we're here, let's talk about the book of Nehemiah. We learn a few things about Nehemiah right here in chapter 1. We learn 1, that he cares about his people. 2, that he is a man of prayer. And 3, that he is the cupbearer to the king. He shows us that he's a man who cares about his people right here in verse number 2. He asks about the city of Jerusalem and the people that are in it. And unfortunately, bad news is given to him. He learns that the walls of the city are destroyed and that the people inside are unprotected. And his response shows us that he's a man of prayer. His response is sadness, deep sadness, and it says that he mourns for days and he weeps for days. And during those days, he prays to God. And in his prayers, he tells God how awesome he is and how great his love is. Then he moves on to confessing the sins of the people, and then he reminds God of the promises that God has made, and then he asks for help from God in talking to the king about this bad news that he heard. Right, and we learn that he's a cupbearer right at the end of chapter 1. And this is a pretty important job because Nehemiah was the one who taste tested all the food and drink before the king ate it to see if it was poison or not. Pretty dangerous job, but this meant that Nehemiah got a lot of time with the king. Question: what was the last piece of news that you've heard, either globally or locally, that has made you sad like Nehemiah? Talk about it. There are a lot of things around the world that make me sad, that I hear about. Like when I hear news that people don't have clean water to drink, or enough food to eat, or I hear somebody's going without a home, or I hear that kids don't have parents, or that nature's being destroyed. And when we hear these things, we should take Nehemiah's approach. We should let it affect us. We should get sad and have those emotions. But we also should turn to God and pray to Him for help and to see how we can help that situation that we've heard about. Now the story continues with Nehemiah going to the king, and the king giving Nehemiah everything that he needed, and an armed guard escort to Jerusalem to make sure that he got there. Now Nehemiah gets there and inspects the wall and sees that it is just in shambles, very destroyed. So he rallies the people in Jerusalem to start building. And they start rebuilding it, and the people outside the city start to notice that it's being rebuilt. And a guy named Sanballat and Tobiah take it personally that this wall is being reconstructed. And they start to bother and mock the Israelites for building it. They say things like, it's foolish to rebuild the wall, and do you even know what you're doing? And despite this, the Israelites keep on building. And Tobiah and Sanballat's anger grows, and in response, Nehemiah keeps his cool and sets up guards to protect his people and the wall. And even though they were being harassed and bothered, the wall was still completed in just 52 days. That's a pretty impressive time. I know we probably don't have a frame of reference, but I tell you, it's impressive. It says that the people outside the wall stood in awe of it being completed in that time, and that they were only able to complete it within that time frame because of God. Pretty impressive. Question! Have you ever been mocked or made fun of for doing something that was right? Talk about it. Nehemiah was doing something right when Sanballat and Tobiah started to mess with him and the Israelites. He kept his cool, made the necessary adjustments to keep his people safe, and continued with the mission that God had put him on. After the wall was finished, the man named Ezra came onto the scene and started to read the books of the law, which are the first 5 books of the Bible we have today. And as he was reading, he noticed that all the people were getting sad. And it's because they started to realize that they hadn't followed God. They had turned away from him. And this was making them sad. So Ezra sees this, stops reading, and throws a big feast or a party to celebrate all that God has done for the people. This leads the Israelites to making another promise to follow God and repent. Unfortunately, we don't really see this happen. Nehemiah gets sad, and the book sort of just ends. A final thought for us today. I encourage you to be like Nehemiah. He heard about a problem, prayed to God to help him with this problem, and went to go help. So next time you hear about something that you think needs help, pray to God for wisdom and understanding on how to help, and go help. Also, don't be afraid to feel sad about the thing that you heard about. Let it affect you, and let it guide you to seeking God for help. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye!